Miss Lacey Moores, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
So you and I met in Phoenix at a sales event,
Hmm.
and at the end of that, I don't know if you know this or not, but at the end of that, I went to a mutual friend of ours, Jimmy,
Hmm.
and I asked him a real simple question: Who is that? Because it was impressive. It was impressive. I see a lot of presentations, and I thought you had a great message and a great presenter. So bring everybody up to speed. So branch manager, loan officer, broker, banker.
Yeah,
Like, give us a 30 second. Who is Lacey?
sure. I'm a producing branch manager.
Okay.
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri on Lee Summit, Missouri, but Kansas City, Missouri, 24. This is my 24th year in the business. I've been doing it for a long time. And yeah, it's weird. I have fallen back in love with mortgages more the last couple of years than I probably ever have been.
Hmm.
In my whole time, which is very odd with the market and everything and how it's been, but
Hmm.
it's been really good.
Very interesting. So fell back in love. We're going to come back to that in just a second. Fell back
Sure.
in love. What's your numbers? So, like, are you mainly a branch manager? Are you mainly a producer? You do like 50-50? So,
I
what are
am
your numbers?
mainly a producer.
And
So,
so what does that look like?
well, we just wrapped up 2025, closed 177 deals, 55 million. And those are all my numbers, so those are not anybody's. I don't have any loan officers underneath me that roll up into my numbers. That's
So,
just me.
175 million and how many units?
No, 177 units,
Oh, 177 units.
55 million. I'm in Missouri.
Good for you. Good for you.
Don't have those huge loan amounts.
Yeah, good for you. So that's a good. So what is it? What is that? If we divide that by a month, what is that? What are you running per month? Is that
15. Yeah, I average about 15 a month.
good for you, Lacey?
Yeah.
Hey, I want to hear a little bit about how you make that happen. But hey, what before we go into your volume and how you did it, tell me about this. You fell back in love. So what? Tell me about that. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, did something happen where like, hey, now it's fun again, or like, what do you mean?
Well, so, I've been coached for, I just was filling this out, literally our goal sheet for this next semester, but I'm like 18 semesters in, so 9 to 10 years of being coached. And I love that whole journey. And I still get coached, and I've coached now for 5 years myself, but I love that journey. But we went from years and years and years of increased business and increased production and setting new goals, and I loved all that. Getting bigger, growing, 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 to COVID, to rates, to so busy we can't see straight, not enough bodies, people. I mean, the craziness that all of that happened. Um, and then, we swung 180 degrees the other way. Is that right? 100. I mess up every cliche.
You got
So,
it. That's it.
okay.
180 degrees.
Okay.
Yep.
I mess up every cliche so that
Yeah.
my team laughs at me. I'm really good at it. So we swung the other way
Hey, well, let me tell you
completely.
something, my friend. Anybody closed 177 units, nobody's gonna be laughing at that person.
Well, I laugh at myself with it. It's funny.
Okay,
I
okay,
am gifted in screwing up cliches. It is
okay.
a gift. I have no idea. Okay. So we swang the other way completely, and now we went from, I mean, people aren't making it, having to cut team really, really hard. Um, and that was a real high, real, real low lows. Like that kind of income during COVID, it was that kind of market wasn't sustainable. Income
Yeah,
was great, but I would take less income for, more not so much crazy
yeah.
to the opposite direction and all of that. And so it just got really just a lot in a very short time frame. And so, people are falling off left and right, which is what we technically wanted, especially somebody at my tenure to be in the business, like was ready for a lot of these people to start getting out of the business. And I had a sign up on my board right here, which is right next to my face that I look at all the time, and it said "Outlast everyone."
Mhm.
And that going through that time frame, um, everything changed. I mean, you went from having to build a crazy team to letting people go and not needing all of that team to doing a lot of things yourself that you didn't do for years and years, like just all of this crazy shift. And in that moment, in all of that, I found my love again, and I love serving people. But when we got so busy, and I think my biggest year I closed over 500 loans, but we got so busy doing loans, it became very transactional
Mm,
and lost that piece because I mean, you make your meetings 30 minutes, not an hour. Like you, any time to be more efficient, and it lost a lot of connection. And so falling back in love with that process and really having the time to care about people and what they're trying to accomplish
mhm,
through loans. I still love originating after 24 years. Like
mm,
I still love that. And a lot of people at my time in and my career, want to do more or be in leadership and do all this stuff. And I've been asked, but until I don't love originating, like like I'm staying there because I love that place. And so the last 2 years of being able to fall in love with it again and getting back to why I do what I do, who I do what I do for, um, and as long as I've done it and as much money I've made, it's not about money anymore, which is a nice place to be, to really build something that I still love coming into work every single day. And how do I make that even better?
mhm. A lot of good stuff there. One thing, man, I always, like you, what I heard you just say, one of the hardest parts of the business is when we do have a downtrend, and I don't care who you are, you're going to have those times, right?
Yep,
No matter who you are.
sure. Market.
And maybe not as down as everybody else,
Everybody else. Yep.
but
But it
still
still
down.
happens. Mhm.
Yeah, it happens. To me, you, Apple, and everybody else, right?
Exactly.
Uh, but one thing I found, so it used to really just kill me when I had to let somebody go. And it's like, oh, geez. And in my mind, well, they really haven't done anything wrong, but we don't need seven processors now. We need six, or whatever
Yep.
that thing is. And then I came to the conclusion that people like you and me, Lacey, we offer people opportunities.
Yep.
And we kept our best processors
Yep.
and let go of our least best processor.
Yep.
And it's not my responsibility of who lines up where on that line. That's their responsibility.
Not wrong.
And
Yep.
just like FedEx, here we are the first of the year. FedEx is getting ready to lay off a bunch of Christmas drivers.
Yep.
My suspicion is they're going to keep the best, and the ones that were a little slower,
Yep.
they didn't choose. The people self-chose themselves. So
Sure.
anyway, hey, so back to on your units here. So running about 15 units a month, give or take. How do you bring most of those in? Are they what's your and just so our listeners know, when we do these podcasts, you have no idea what questions. I don't have a list. We're going to talk about that.
Right.
Like this, this is a complete cold thing because I find it comes better and more authentic that way, at least from me. So I might ask you some questions you might not have the exact answers for because you don't know.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so what's your percentage of purchase refi for last year? Like my question is, how did most of those loans come in?
Sure. So my purchase to refi is 90/10.
Okay.
My business is 70% real estate agents, and then 30% is broken down into PCRs. Let me
P,
not
P,
use let me not use coaching terms. Past client referrals, past clients, current client referrals, and then business. So the other 30% is all four of those categories. And I have dialed in numbers if you want because I am the Excel nerd. So everything is
awesome.
trackable for 20 years. Like it's bad. People, when they actually see me behind the scenes, they're like, okay, she's scary because everything is documented and trackable.
I like scary. So how do you do the tracking part? Like, is there a computer software that you have, or is it a spreadsheet, or what does that look like?
It's called Excel. And there's all these fun, great softwares that come out. And I have used the same, I can literally share my screen. And since I'm with Summit Funding and I've been here 6 years, but on this computer, I can literally show you all 6 years of every piece of my since I've been here. And then I have my old computer still with all my old stuff prior to
Fascinating.
that. But I keep everything. I track leads every month. I track closed loans every month. Every single lead that
Mhm.
I have, I know exactly where it came from. In fact, I just was talking to Robin about this, but I took in 617 leads and closed 177 deals. So I know my conversion. I know my numbers, where everything comes from. But that piece is so important to me, Carl, because if we're really good at pulling out new loans out of the current loans we have. And so if I'm doing a loan for you, Carl, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I want you to meet my brother. He's looking to buy a home. And I talked to your brother. He doesn't have a realtor. That brother has to go back to the realtor in which you came from.
Mhm.
I will always feed, like, I don't pluck from here and go over here and go after these people. And
Mhm.
so my referral sources know that, and our team's super dialed in on getting current client referrals, and even past client referrals, but those have to go back to where it came from,
Mhm.
all day long. And you can't do that if you don't track where everything comes from. So
Yeah, we call that dancing with the one that brought you, you know. So
absolutely.
yeah.
Feeding the fish. Yep.
So
Yep.
so when you on all this tracking, is that something that uh is that something that you input in, or does somebody else like help you with that part? I'll be honest with you. I look at a spreadsheet,
Yeah.
my eyes glaze over.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's just the way I can't help it, right? It's just
Well,
the
we're
way
different, Carl, because when I look at a spreadsheet, I get all excited.
you get.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's my favorite
Oh.
place to be. However, that's just who I am, and I love numbers, and I've always been like that. But do I put everything in? Absolutely not. I do not have the time, nor is that my best use skill set, right?
Mhm.
But my team, we have a lead tracker, so every single lead comes in, and leads come in from every direction. People are calling me, messaging me on Facebook, they're texting me, it's on a napkin, but whatever it is, I try to get that to. I have two girls that help me on the front end, and it has to go into our lead tracker. That way we know everything. And I have a good colleague of mine, and he always pushes back on me. He's like, I'm not putting it in there until it's an actual deal. And I'm like, well, shame on you, because you
Mhm.
then have no way to follow up with that person who said, hey, my brother's calling you. Hey, I haven't heard from your brother. Can I call him, or can you
Mhm.
call him again? You're never going to remember to follow up with that if it ain't in there. And so, like, anything goes, all of that goes in there, period. And we look at that sucker daily, and it allows us to know who we need to follow up with and who we need to check into. So everything is tracked. Now we have a CRM, we have a database, we have all this stuff that does it too, and that puts everything in and helps with conversions and all of that. But to this day, I did upgrade to like Google Sheets maybe 5 or 6 years ago,
Mhm.
and that way a couple people on my team can help put data in, but at the end of every month, we to make sure my CRM is accurate, because believe it or not, sometimes they're not.
Mhm.
And so we go in and we put every single lead where it came from and every single close loan where it came from. And I can show you this document again for 6 years since it's been on my computer. Everything, everything I have.
Hmm. So on your 177 closing, by the way, I just did I on the fly there, I got out my handy calculator. You said you had 617 leads and you closed
Mhm,
177 of them.
mhm.
That's a 28.6% conversion.
When everybody else's conversion's gone down in the
Yeah,
last couple
that's
of years.
that's
Yeah,
that's actually pretty impressive.
yeah,
I always felt pretty good when mine was at 25, just
yeah.
be honest with you. And I find anything, let's call it north of 15,
Yep.
I always thought was pretty darn good.
Yep. Industry
And
standard is 15 to 20. I mean, 20 is really good. Yep.
yeah, yeah, uh-huh. And so at 28.6, is your conversion rate so high? And by the way, sometimes somebody say, "Well, I got a 70% conversion rate." No, no, you don't, right? Because you're not counting it.
Not if we're tracking the same thing.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 28.6 is high. It's real high. It's not
Uh-huh.
what I'd call off the chart, but it's high. It's
Very high.
higher than mine, and I think I'm pretty good, right? So it's higher
Yeah.
than mine. Is your conversion so high because your lead sources are better or your conversion is better, do you think?
Both.
Mm.
Both. And that both of those take time. And both of those are a not a sprint. right? It's a journey and it's continually getting both of those systems better. And I learned how to top grade referral partners eventually, right? Like I was the queen of bond in Missouri. Like I did the most bond loans for a decade than anybody. And finally a coach is like, and I love still doing those. I've actually never gotten away because I love serving those people and those turn into a bunch of other loans, believe it or not. But
Hmm.
it didn't need to be my full focus and target.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, getting through coaching, I learned how to increase my sales price averages, learn how to do this, learn how to get better referral partners, learn how to fire some referral partners that were sucking me dry and were negative and all these things. That doesn't happen right away. You can't fire, referral partners in the beginning. Like you got to take anything you can get. But as you keep growing, so I think that the answer to that is there is a lot in the time. And, we just got asked this. I got asked this the other day. Actually, on one of our coaching calls, there's three of us on it. And they said, if you could go back and talk to yourself 10, 15 years ago, maybe even 20, in the beginning of you getting in the business, what would you say to yourself? And one of the guys said, I would tell myself that everything's gonna be okay. Like you don't have to worry so much. You're gonna be okay. Try to enjoy it a little more. And he came to me and he said, what would you tell yourself? And I said, I would tell myself to do it again. Do it again. Run hard as fast as you can, as early as you can. And
Hmm.
I ran hard for a long time, but now I'm in a place in life that I get to enjoy it so much. And I have this massive, huge foundation that doesn't come overnight for anybody. You got to build all of that, but if you really do put it in the time in, there's a time frame of your life then that you get to enjoy it. And that's where I'm at now. And I would tell myself to do it again and not like don't slow down on the hustle, but it allows me to create more of a life that I want now. And I never thought this was possible.
Mm. That reminds me of the old cliche. I don't know, Tony Robbins, somebody great like that said this. It's something. What is it? Do what most won't do now,
You can do
so
what
that you can do
nobody can
what
do
most
later.
can't later. Yeah, and
100%.
yeah, there's
And
a lot
there
of
is so much truth in that, and it's so hard because we live in a world, I coach a lot of younger loan officers and everybody wants everything fast. I mean, we are consumeristic. It's who we are here in America, but um, it no, like it doesn't happen like that. And if it comes fast, it goes fast too.
Mhm.
And so, putting in the time, but you can't, it's basics for a long time. It's
Mhm.
basics for a long, long time.
Mhm.
That all of a sudden one day you wake up and you're like, wow, this is the life I get to live.
I'm going back to this, looking at your conversion of your leads. Do you have like a template that when a lead comes in, this is how long we follow up with them, or
Oh, sure.
like what does that look like?
Yep. So we have all SLAs, like how quickly we get back to them, how many times we try to call them, if we don't hear from them, when we reach back out to the referral source and say, hey, help us out, like we've tried, this is what we've done. And then, like, so is your question on that piece, or is it on what the
Yeah.
follow-up is after the
No,
lead?
no, no. That piece is like how long do I call them? Do I call them every day? Do I text? Do I email?
Yeah.
Most
So,
of the time I get a lead, I get a name and a phone number.
yeah,
Does yours the same
yeah.
way?
Yeah, lead and phone number. I ask, I get text message all the time. Hey, I referred so and so to you. Their name's this, and I'm like, hey, great, thanks. And then I ask, can I call them? Because I know my conversion is crazy high if I can get a hold of them, if I have to wait for them to call me, not happening. And
Mhm.
then if they give it to me every other day, I will follow up, like still haven't heard from them. And I have a few scripts, so and it's fun, but I will leave messages for borrowers or leads or whatever that says, "Hey Carl, like I am literally not trying to stalk you. So if you want me to stop calling, that's all you have to tell me and I will stop. However, so and so gave me your name and I am not one to drop the ball. So I will keep calling until I can connect with you unless you tell me just to stop. So no worries if you do, I promise I will, but I'd love to chat with you. And for whatever reason, instantly people call me back after that one and they're like, I'm so sorry. Like somebody was in the hospital or this was going on. And I thank you for keep calling me. But it kind of lowers the bar for them to oh, I need to get back to her.
Yeah,
Um,
like otherwise you're going to keep calling,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I like that.
And if
So
they tell me you can stop, I'm like, thank you.
how
We'll
many
move our
how many
resources somewhere else.
how many times have you left a message when you have that conversation?
After I've said that, what do you mean?
No, no. So like I got it. You got a lead.
Yep.
How many times do you call and leave a voicemail before you leave that message?
That's on the third one. Yeah.
Third one. Okay,
So it's
very
on our third
interesting.
contact.
And I did I hear you right? Like you're calling every other day?
Well, yes, we will call every other day. If you give me somebody's name and they don't give me your phone number, like you just say, "Hey, Lacey, I sent my brother to you," I will call you back every other day and say,
No,
"Hey,
I get.
Carl, yeah,
But
yeah."
but like if I say, hey, give my neighbor a call, Susan.
Oh no, if I have a phone number, we're calling every day.
So you'll call the lead source every other day. Hey, what's their phone number? But the lead you call every day.
Yep.
And do you have that same conversation with the lead after the third call? Hey, if I don't hear from you, just let you know I'm going to keep calling unless you want me to stop.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
that script, by the way. I think it's a
Yeah.
brilliant script. And
Yep.
so you have that after the third call or on the
Yes.
third call.
On the third. Yep.
Interesting. I really like that. I bet you saw a major shift when you started using that.
Well, it it clearly lets people tell you where they're at, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I'm fine if someone says, "Yeah, I don't know why Carl gave you my number. I'm not looking. Please stay
Right,
calm."
right.
I'm so sorry. No worries. Whew, we can move on. Why? I don't want to waste all those resources if somebody truly
Right, right.
wasn't wanting help. So I'm
Mhm.
fine if anybody tells me that.
Mhm.
Um, more than fine, but it doesn't happen that often, like at all. I would tell you 95% of that response is always, "Oh, I'm so sorry, this."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then that "I'm so sorry, this" opens up an instant connection. It opens up
Mhm.
instantly them telling you, "Well, this has been going on in my life," or "This is why I couldn't get back to you. My kids are," and instantly I can find a way to connect with people from that.
Mhm. Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. You make a great point because I was just sitting here thinking. So, my wife and I, the lovely Mrs. White and I, just bought a house, I don't know, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that, up in North Carolina to stalk my daughter that lives up there now.
Yeah.
And so we live like I don't know, we have a house like 5 houses down from hers up there that we go to first week of every month. And but anyway, so when we were out looking for houses, a dear friend of mine from actually high school referred me to this agent, and so I called the agent, left a voicemail, and then he kept calling me back. I was just busy. Like I just had a
Yep.
lot going on. I was doing
Yep.
this and doing that and running the mortgage company and doing the training and doing I just had a lot going on for a little bit. And it was probably 2 weeks or so, maybe 3 weeks before I returned my first call. And I wanted to buy a house. Like I was interested. I
Yeah.
was just busy.
Yep.
And had to your point, had he stopped, I would have still bought a house just through somebody else, and he
Maybe not with
wasn't
him.
bugging me.
Yep.
I would say, "Oh, I need to call him. Oh, I need to call him. I need to call." And because of his perseverance, I was one of his closings, for the
Sure.
year.
Sure.
And
Well, so many people quit because after one or two, it feels rejection, and it's not, right?
mhm,
Like, but
mhm,
one of my coaches always says, like, quit being the only person you think about. Like, you
mhm,
are not the only person. Like, all I think about is myself. And what he means by that is when you tell yourself a story, like they don't want to talk to me, they don't want my help, they're not answering. It's your story. It's whatever you decide to draw up, and it's all about your perception. And you're
mhm,
being again self-centered. This isn't about you. Like
mhm,
Carl's busy. He has all this stuff going on. You can't like and so people stop, right? And it's very I mean this is in sales all day long. People stop after so many, and we all know all the numbers, and I'll probably get them wrong, but the sale is made on this call, right? And it's
mhm,
always one or two more steps past what the majority of people are willing to make. And so
mhm,
it just doesn't happen for people. And then when people are super successful, they're like, "Oh, well, she's it's just her personality. Or, oh, well, it's just this. Well, sometimes it's that they're willing to make just the one or two more calls
Hmm.
because they're not letting that little voice say things to them like they don't want to talk to you, it's not worth it, all of those things. They just keep doing it.
One thing I have learned is consistency out trumps talent 10 out of 10 times.
Yep.
That whoever's doing it consistent will win above and beyond somebody else that might actually be better at it, so to speak, but they're not consistent with it. So,
Well, the consistent person, though, eventually gets the talent. And that's when the magic happens. And so what I mean by that is when you are consistent with activity, you start figuring out, oh, that worked, right? Like you're
mhm,
making all these phone calls and they're not working or whatever it is you're doing, but you're being consistent. You start figuring out, oh, I said that a little bit differently. It was the same thing, but how I said it actually worked. And
mhm,
so you start tweaking, but you're still consistent with the activity, and you
mhm,
start tweaking the activity or the how you do it, and that's when a lot of the magic happens, and that's where people turn from maybe more consistent to a lot more talented, because they get that talent through the consistency.
mhm. Hey, I'm going to pivot. I know you're a little tight on time here, but I want to pivot. And by the way, I'd love to have you back because this is there's so many different rabbit trails
Sure,
that I
sure.
want to go down here. Um, let's say you're talking to a loan officer and they closed 20 units last year, right? So so uh, so so they're getting some business, but not what they want. And they're closing, say, 20 units, and they're closing 2 units a month, and they want to go to six. Is there like here's what you should do to go from two to six? Is there kind of like
Easy. Yeah,
a,
it's
a-
math.
tell
It's
me?
math. Okay. So if you're closing two, then how many leads did you get? So we go back and we look at how many leads they got to get two closings. So now we know their conversion. So if we want four, we need to double the leads. If we want eight, we need to quadruple the leads. Now, hopefully in doing that, we learn to convert better. So there's the consistency piece. By the more and more we do, we tweak it and we get that conversion piece up. But it's super easy. People like this is not hard to do to figure out, and backdoor this. If I want to close this many, this is the activity I need. And the piece is so important is what is that activity? Right. And so when we look at that loan officer closing 20, let's really go back and look at your calendar. Show me your calendar. I'll tell you how much money you're going to make,
Hmm.
period. And so I can look at what they're doing in activity. We can also get super granular. I love doing this with some students, like super granular on, is that activity green? Is it really producing or is it busy work? And that's where people think, oh, I'm busy all the time. I do activity all the time. Well, you're not doing green activity. And that's why you feel busy and you're not closing what you want to close. So we're going to go through and we're going to clean out some of this crap that doesn't need to be here because it makes you feel good about being in the office or working, but you're
Hmm.
not earning. And so that's where I think that, it really comes into we know what we need to do. I mean, real estate agents and lenders, you always just do the simple math. Where do you want to be? What's it going to take to get there? And does my activity follow that? And we coach through all of those things and there's all these different tactics that we can impact for every single one. But that question is top question all the time. And then every single person is different how to answer that. But yes, it's simple math. Let's look at how many leads it took you to get there. Right. So I already told you my leads. We already know what I had for leads and what I had for closings. So if I said I wanted to do 200 units next month, it's super easy on what my lead goal needs to be per month. Period.
So let's say I'm at two. I want to get to six, and let's say I close one out of six, right?
Mhm.
Somewhere in that teens percent, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So I need 36 leads for the month to close
Mhm.
six per month.
Mhm.
How am I going to get the 36 leads?
Well, how do we get to the ones that we currently have, right? So what
Mhm.
does that loan officer currently have and what are they doing for those? Are those activities high change or not. Because some people, it's just a little bit more leverage. For me, I do a lot of leads, but when my month is getting low and I need some, I want big leverage pulling pieces. So leverage pulling pieces to me is information out to my entire database, something good that they can, and that's how I can pull a lever depending on what, how much more I need to meet my goals for that exact month. But if we're in a smaller like bucket there, what I want to look at is where are we getting our current leads? And that sometimes is we do have to get granular on that. But it's
Hmm.
pretty clear when we look at it, no, like you are missing this whole category or you're not going after this piece. Keep
Hmm.
doing what you're doing here. Let's add this into your database or your like whatever piece it is to be able to generate those. But tracking it has to happen because you can't efficiently
Hmm.
pull levers if you're not tracking what it does.
Hmm.
So it's very easy for me to pull levers because I have all the data and I'm not like, I'm basic. I'm not a techie person at all. But I have the numbers because I put those, I'm like I told you, I'm Excel. Like I'll put them just in a simple Excel format, but I can look at everything pretty quickly.
Hmm.
So it's hard for me to coach loan officers if I don't have any data. So the first place is let's get the data. Let's
Hmm.
figure out where are our leads coming from. If you got 10 leads, I want you to go through the last 10 and tell me what the sources of those are. That's how we can start putting these things in place. But yes, the math is pretty simple. If you want to double, we need to double your lead. And in the meantime, working on conversions, right? Like how do you get that conversion
Hmm.
piece up? But the leads, we always say leads fix everything.
Hmm. Hey, let me ask you something. I got two final questions. Let me write this last one down so I can.
Remember?
Yep. What single activity does Lacey Moores do that makes her most her money?
Single activity.
Yeah,
It's hard for me to split these in between two.
I
I
get that. I get that.
I do. I think a large piece of my foundation came from me teaching. So I would teach lunch and learns. I would go to offices all the time and teach stuff. Now, for me, it had to be valuable. Like my rules are if people don't leave appreciating that they came and it was valuable, I gotta stop doing them.
Hmm.
So I always wanted to make sure that I packed value into whatever I'm not just going to run around and do lunch and learns that are boring or that nobody walks away
Hmm.
from and says that wasn't worth anything.
Hmm.
So lunch and learns was always super important to me. And then for me now, not me then, but me now would be the value that I bring to my referral partners. Due to me coaching and getting coached for so long, I can do loans, I can close loans, I have good rate, all the things that communicate well, that's super easy. But for me, I'm more valuable to my referral partners because I help them figure out where to grow and I help them. And that is from getting coached. So
Hmm.
I bring value to them that they can't get at any other lender or any other, online or anything like that. So I help them in their business. So that now is probably by far my biggest attribute to 70% of referral-based business.
Hmm. Good stuff, Lacey. Final question, maybe. Final question. Um, the president of the United States gives you a call, whoever he or she is,
Sure.
right? So the president of the United States calls you and says, Lacey, I need your superpower. What are they calling you for? What superpower are they calling you for?
I would always say my superpower is discernment. Um, I can make decisions pretty fast. I don't spend a whole lot of time in the weeds of things,
Hmm.
but I have a really, really strong discernment. But I that's more of a gift, that I've luckily learned to learn more about and grow into.
Hmm.
And so that is probably my biggest gift. My superpower is that I have a way to take something very complicated and very hairy and to be able to explain it to somebody no matter what level they are.
Mm,
super smart, super basic, like any level, to meet them on the level and be able to explain it to them where they understand it. And that's what gets me excited. No matter what the level is being able to deliver that to somebody. But I've worked on that for a lot of years too. Like,
mhm,
and learning and all of the stuff I've done, learning about how to read people and how to understand stuff like that. So I, it, it's a challenge, but it's also brings a lot of joy too, because people feel a certain amount of trust when you can do that. A lot of
mm.
trust.
I would agree with those superpowers. Watch you just what I've learned about you. I would agree with those. I was going to ask one more thing, which led. Oh, I know what it was. So I always like to leave these with an action item. So, all
Yep.
right, there's the one thing you want to make sure you're doing. Go do this. Give them something to do.
I heard the question, but I heard one spot it cut out. Who is this? Who is the
So,
audience?
so the audience is our podcast listeners here. So these
Yep.
are fellow loan officers,
Loan officers. Okay.
branch managers,
Yep.
company owners. But yeah,
Yep.
I always like to leave them I always like to leave them with an action item. Like whatever you do after listening to this call, go do this.
Hmm.
So what's something? Hey, whatever you're doing, make sure you're.
Tracking.
Hmm,
100%. Like make sure you're tracking. You can't fix results correctly if you're not tracking. You
hmm,
can't spend money correctly if you're not tracking. If a real estate agent comes and says, "Hey, hey, will you help me with this expense?" How do you know if it's a good choice or a bad choice? You can't unless you track, right? And you can't track ROI if you don't do and it's not this super crazy hard thing. It's not at all. Like people think it's so big and difficult. And yes, there are tons of softwares that you can do all this crazy stuff with it. But again, like I believe in it being very basic. That's how I continue to do it, no matter where I'm at, no matter like it's just simple. And companies change CRMs and they change this and they change that, and you change companies and all the things is why I keep it very, very simple. But you have to start tracking. And if you have questions on what you start tracking, I can help with that. That's what we do. But it becomes very basic, but it's crazy to me how much I can learn about my own self and my own business by just looking at my own data.
very fascinating. Yeah, I'm with you on the tracking. In fact, we use which it's the same one that you guys use. We use this little one-page tracking form.
Mhm.
And hey, I'm just curious. So on mine, just personal question.
Yeah,
On mine, I work better if I just print it up and do it on paper. Do you print up the form or do you Excel spreadsheet it?
it's always a printed form on my
Yeah,
desk.
same here.
So that's just me. And I have people who are like, you can do that electronically. And I'm like, yeah, you can do it on paper. People get caught up in the weeds on that. Do what you do. Like you're different than me
Mhm,
and we're all different, but you got to do it. So whatever it is that fits your personality, fine, find it,
mhm, mhm.
but don't let it be an excuse, right? Like, so it just has to be done. So I put everything I can in there. So
Yeah, I know on mine, if I open up my computer with a tracking form, next thing I know, somehow I'm on the NASCAR fan page on
exactly,
Facebook. And
exactly.
so I just, there's an old saying, if you don't want to drink, don't go in the bar.
Mm.
And so,
It's crazy how that works, isn't it?
yeah,
So
yeah, so I'm a paper and pencil guy too. Yeah.
I have my daily printed calendar every single day. I live out of my calendar. And over
Mm,
on the right of my calendar is just a section for notes. And so I just write stuff all day while I'm doing stuff. And
mhm,
then that gets put into whatever form we're using it for. Okay.
mhm,
And
mhm,
so, like, we have a lead tracker, and then we also have a greatness tracker that tracks our actual activity. And
mhm,
so, either at night, depending on what my day is like, if I'm running out the door or in the
mhm,
morning, it gets put over into those forms, whether by me or somebody on my team, depending on what it is.
mhm,
But every single thing gets tracked. And it's
mhm.
so easy to now change things or set goals. I used to just set goals and be like, hey, I want to do this much this year with no um, nothing to just because I said it versus now I'm like, well, this type of stuff makes me this, and this is the hours it takes, and this is the joy I have. Like now I can, do all of that knowing what I need in leads and conversion to be able to make that happen. But
Intentional.
I'm all about My favorite thing is less leads, better conversion. Like if I can take in less leads and convert better, and so that's something we're just always working on. Less work,
Mm.
more money. Like period. So the conversion piece, that's an art form though, and you just always have to be working on it. I'm 24, 25 years in and I'm still working on it because there's things and ways of getting better at it.
Well, that's our topic for the next episode. If you'll have me back, that'll be our next episode. So, somebody wants to get connected up with you. Is there like is it social media or a website or like what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm apparently all over social media.
Hmm.
And I say apparently because I hate social media. And I
Yeah,
think there's a lot of loan officers out there that would agree with me, but it has to be done. I'm fortunate enough. I have somebody who does all of that for me. So I know I have a Facebook. That's the only thing I'm in, but I know I have Instagram and I have all these things. We do a podcast.
yeah.
It's all over the place. It's pretty easy to find me, but it's needed for sure.
Hmm.
But it's not my favorite place to spend time. So I have to have somebody help me do that because if it's left to me, it's the last thing on my list because I much rather do loans and everything else. So
Yeah, we have a lot in common. I like social media, but that's a problem. I like it, and so again, I end up on the NASCAR fan page,
yeah,
and or I'll go, hey, I wonder what my friend Lacey what they do this weekend,
yeah. And now
and
you're like
just
all over the place, right? Yep.
nothing actually get, which is fine to do on the weekends, not on work time. All right, I'll talk to you when we finish up. So we'll put a link to somewhere if you want to hook up with find more about Lacey and what she's doing.
I'll get it to you.
Yeah, we'll have it in the show notes here. So,
Perfect.
Lacey, I appreciate it, my friend.
Absolutely.
Great
This is fun.
episode.
Thank you for having me.
You're a fascinating individual. You're obviously multi-talented. You have a lot of strong points in what you're doing. And I've got a page full of notes here of some of the different topics that we could cover.
Well, thank you.
obviously you've spent a lot of time sharpening your game for sure, and it shows. So your success isn't by chance; it's by design. Congratulations, my friend. You're worthy of
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good
Well,
stuff.
thanks
All
for
right,
having me.
thanks, Lacey.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, good stuff. Hey, if you want to see a copy of the tracking form that we use, we call it the Freedom Tracker, right? Because it we find that tracking gives us freedom, right? It's a fascinating thing. Little simple one sheet. And what we'll do is we'll go over the just on the call. We'll do a one-on-one Zoom. Just say, hey, I want to see a copy of your tracking form. We'll walk you through it, and then we'll give you some best some kind of best use scenarios of how do you fill the tracker up with qualified leads that actually convert. And so if you want to see a copy of our Freedom Tracker, we'll give you a copy. You can have it. And again, we'll show you how to fill it out, and we'll show you how to fill it up on that call. And whether you're a member or not, we're happy to do this. So if you just go to getmoreloans.com, getmoreloans.com, and on the I think there's a little space on there. What happens when you go to getmoreloans.com, it'll take you to a calendar where you book the one-on-one Zoom call. And if I remember right, on the comment section there, you can say, hey, please, on the call, I'd like to see the Freedom Tracker. And again, we'll totally give it to you whether you're a member or not. So getmoreloans.com, and look to see what you might have been missing here. So I think she's dead on. The tracking is real good stuff. Be sure to reach out to Lacey. A lot of good stuff. And we'll talk to you when you call in. And we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Thanks again, everybody. Bye bye. Talk to you when you call in.